I think being from Harlem, like, one of the things you'll know about a Harlem dude typically, this is not for everybody, but like, they'll be dead broke, but fly as fuck. So I've learned to always be clean, but I'm just not gonna be broke in pursuit of always being clean and structured and looking presentable. But like representation in Harlem, and you got to think about it, right? Like my family comes from the South. They migrated from the South to Harlem, right? Yeah. What they've experienced in the South has caused them to come out here and want to represent themselves and shift their reality through garment.
And then what role do you feel like you mentioned your pops and you mentioned your parents and the role they played? What role do you feel like your father played in developing you into the man you have become today?
My stepfather, who I call my father, he's done numbers like for me in my development. I'll give you one example. Like I was never the star player on the basketball team. Right? I was actually considered trash. Right? I started very late. This man hasn't missed a basketball game of mine because of it. Because I was just like conflicted, and you know my relationship with my actual father was tricky, and I just like didn't know how to navigate or communicate certain things. But he told me that I was going to be something great in life. It's tricky, man, because I still walk with that ending today. I just have ways of expressing myself. Because I wasn't the greatest at basketball, I had to be the most aggressive. That's why I ended up the strongest on the team, and always like guarding the strongest opponent.
Alright, so how y'all doing? I want to thank y'all all for tuning in to this next episode of our podcast. Today, who I have with me, he's a mentor, a big brother, and a friend of me. And it's been a minute since we've been able to actually get him onto the podcast, but I feel like everything happens in divine timing. So I want to introduce to y'all a brother of mine and someone who may be new to y'all, my man Leroy. So let's give him a round of applause. Hey, how you feeling? How was your day today?
My day was good, bro. My day was good. I had breakfast with my family. I worked out.
Okay.
And now I'm here with you.
Okay. So we're going to make the day better.
Yeah, that's it.
So look, I want to start first. I want to start with your upbringing, right? Being born and raised in Harlem. You could talk a little about your upbringing in Harlem.
My family's from Grant Projects. Like generations came out of Grant Projects. I never lived in the projects, but I was very familiar with the projects because I spent a lot of time in the projects. Growing up in Harlem is so much different than when we came to Brooklyn because Harlem is so small, and it's really, not that Brooklyn isn't a community, but Harlem is really a community. Like I learned to take the bus at 9 years old because they would call my mom like, Renell, I see this boy on the bus, he going uptown. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a real community. So my experience was it was liberating, man. Everybody knew who my father was. Yeah. Everybody knew who my mother was. So it was just like, let's get it.
Yeah, he tried to throw some shade on Brooklyn. Talk about Harlem was a little more close-knit. That's good. So what are some lessons you felt like being born and raised in Harlem that Harlem taught you that was applicable more to life outside of it?
So I think with anything, it's like, I'm a Libra, so I always see the good and bad to everything, right? So I think being from Harlem, like, one of the things you'll know about a Harlem dude typically, this is not for everybody, but like, they'll be dead broke, but fly as fuck. So I've learned to always be clean, but I'm just not going to be broke in pursuit of always being clean and structured and looking presentable. But representation in Harlem is, and you got to think about it, right? Like my family comes from the South. They migrated from the South to Harlem, right? So what they've experienced in the South has caused them to come out here and want to represent themselves and shift their reality through garment. So.
Oh, well, we get into it then. So I want to talk about that. I want to know, what is it that even inclined you pursuing that passion for fashion? Like, was it Harlem, right? Because Harlem got a lot of history in itself, from a Harlem Renaissance. You know, you got Dapper Dan. Like, Harlem is known for having some style. No matter if I'm from Brooklyn, I got to give y'all that. Right? So, like, where did that inclination to want to learn about clothes? Is that from your parents or the inspiration from growing up in that environment?
Absolutely. Like, my father used to dress me just like him. To the point where it became like, it put a strain on our relationship because I wanted to build my own identity. Like, I wanted to wear different color Jordans. I didn't want the classics. Like, I wanted like different things. And he was just like, yo, like ACG boots, and 501 Levi's, hard pressed, clean, starched up. Like, and I was just like, nah, like you know, and like growing up, I think that from a clothing perspective, we dress ourselves to arm ourselves from the elements. Whether that be weather, whether that be bullying, or like just to like fit in. Like everybody to some degree wears a uniform.
Yeah.
You know a Harlem cat when you see him.
Yeah.
You know a Brooklyn cat when you see him.
Yeah.
That's a uniform.
Absolutely. And so I have that question. I
don't know if I answered your question.
No. You good? Because we're gonna just flow. Because I also wanted to ask you, because since I knew you, I knew him since I was younger. When I went to Eagle 6th grade, you was always an older brother. There's a few questions I got about that, but I want to know, like, you always, I don't say you dress different, but you had your own identity to an extent. And I want to know, like, how did you find that comfort branding yourself how you wanted to be, knowing that sometimes your outfits wasn't in accordance to what other people's uniform was. Like in Brooklyn, everybody wearing Timbs. You would come in, I forgot the exact, I think Jeremy Scott something with the
snow boots. Yeah,
right. You would come in your own fashion, but you, like you said, like fashion could be the difference between being bullied, being ostracized, not fitting in, but also could be a part of a language.
Yeah.
So like how you started to gain that courage to take those steps into who you wanted to be branded.
So by the time you met me, I was in high school, so I had fully stepped into my confidence by that time. I used to dress like everybody else. Like you go through that. You follow before you lead. I stopped giving a fuck. And it was to the point where, like, you're not going to bully me. I'm going to wear what I want. I'm going to do what I want. Right? And it was really, like, I'll be honest with you, it was to rebel in some regard, because I didn't agree with certain things within the system that we came up in. Just from a garment standpoint, I think that I just, like, a lot of times it was just like, I don't agree with this. So I'm just like, I don't agree with this to the extent that I'm going to show you that other is possible. Yeah. And that really launched my whole career. But
yeah. Did you ever have that questioning stage though? Because I think a lot of us, like I wore Timbs, Vinny hoodies. We was there. So like, did you feel a little hesitant taking that leap?
Nah, cause like again, and this is what I've learned. Like a lot of times, we're referencing something. So I had those snowball boots because I referenced Pharrell, because I seen Pharrell do it, and like Pharrell gave me that confidence in that moment to do that. Right. So I'm like, I didn't change the trajectory of anything. I didn't reinvent the wheel. I just exposed myself to something outside of what was around me. And that just like kept snowballing and cycling, and I just kept exposing myself to new things, and it like I'm constantly reinventing myself through my style.
Yeah. So Pharrell was your first reference? That was your inspiration?
It was so many, man. My very first was Jim Jones.
Okay.
Very first.
But you were dressed like Jim Jones at a point.
I was trying to.
And then what made you switch to Pharrell? Like what you seen? Was it a video?
I just catered to it. I was just like, yo, I like this.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
I just watched something the other day that's like Pharrell dresses in a way to protect boyhood and freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times we grow up and we have to dress like adults. Pharrell still dresses like a child, so to speak. And I appreciated that in that moment, especially being like a young man in an all boys school.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
let's talk about Eagle. Right?
Part of me wanted to still be to still live out my childhood to some degree, subconsciously. I'm realizing in this conversation.
Do you feel like we should be being stripped of our childhood as young black men?
Not stripped of it, but the reality, our outside reality was too real for me. Transparently.
And then what role do you feel like you mentioned your pops and you mentioned your parents and the role they played? What role do you feel like your father played in developing you into the man you have become today?
My stepfather, who I call my father, he's done numbers like for me in my development. I'll give you one example. Like I was never the star player on the basketball team. Right? I was actually considered trash. Right? I started very late. This man hasn't missed a basketball game of mine. He's been consistent in my life, throughout my life. And a lot of times we bumped heads because of it, because I was just like conflicted, and my relationship with my actual father was tricky, and I just like didn't know how to navigate or communicate certain things. But yeah, he told me that I was going to be something great in life. He was the first person to sit me down, look me in my eyes without even knowing me for real, right? Before him and my mom even started dating. And he was just like, if you calm down your temper, and get a hold of like whatever this is that's bubbling up inside of you, you're going to be great.
Do you feel like you would be who you are today without him?
No. Maybe later in life. Because I'm a child of God.
And then I even wanted to talk about that because when I first knew you, I ain't gonna say you was a crash out, but you was somebody everybody knew not to play with, right? And I want to know how did that transition come about when you started to learn how to control your rage?
It's tricky, man, because I still walk with that anger today. I just have ways of expressing myself now. Because I wasn't the greatest at basketball, I had to be the most aggressive. That's why I ended up the strongest on the team and always like guarding the strongest opponent. And I think we were in an all boy environment, so like it get like that. Like a lot of testosterone.
It get like that. Yeah.
It's like, you want to play with me? Like, let's play then.
Yeah.
And that's just what it was at that point. But like coming to Brooklyn was a culture shock because when I first came to Brooklyn, like the first few fights that I was bound to have, I was just like, one, I had like, before I came to Brooklyn, I had got arrested for, some tricky stuff. But I had, my biggest fear was going to jail for real or dying. In Harlem, a lot of times, you're going to fight.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of them like knew your mother's cousin, or it was always like it's not gonna go too far.
Right.
In Brooklyn, niggas will stab me. They want you. If they lose, they coming back. You gotta fight every day for the rest of the school year. I'm like, that's pretty exhausted. And I like women, and I like to go to this McDonald's up the block and talk to the girls, and like I don't know if I want to do that in middle school, right? By the time I got to high school, I was just like, it is what it is. And I think it was rooted in some sort of a like depression and just like, again, our outside environment. Like I wasn't yet exposed to the other possibilities. I was just like, yo, I think I'm gonna just get a regular 9 to 5 and just thug it out. I think that was like year 1 and 2, or like have basketball dreams, which is just like, you know what I'm saying?
That's what we all was thinking, right? You all go to the NBA at that time.
We was gonna go somewhere with basketball, but it was just like, nah, none of these things are real. So what? Like, where's my space?
Yeah. And how did you find that space? What became the other outlets outside of violence? I think a lot of times we just don't get exposure to how else we can express the energy outside of playing.
Barry Cooper. Barry Cooper. I had gotten into a fight one time, and he sat me down and he was just like, "Yo, what do you want to be in life?" And I was just like, "Happy." And he was like, "It fucked like he was like."
Yeah, that is shocking.
Huh? He was like, yo, this young man, he says it later, like I know the story. He's like, yo, this young man is wise beyond his years. And he attached me to his hip and just spoke affirmations to me. Yeah. He was just like, yo, you so creative, bro. Yeah. He's like, why don't you exercise that creativity? Yeah. And he took me to a trade show, which essentially changed my life.
Is that where you met Sharifa?
And Ouija.
Talk to me about it. So now all right, explain to people who don't know what a trade show. What is the trade show? Because I recently learned about it.
Yeah, so a fashion trade show essentially is just where brands and buyers connect to get you into other retail spaces. In simplest terms. So like a buyer from another company or a bigger store, or like say like they'll have a buyer from Kith come to Liberty Fairs, and I'll showcase my brand, which is a younger brand or a brand that's just trying to like get some footing in other areas. And the buyer will say, you know what, I like this garment. We want this garment, and these select SKUs, and so on and so forth. So go ahead.
Yeah. No. That's good. So when you went to the trade show, what did that do for you? When you gained exposure to this realm of how fashion was probably used as a language at that time, like what did that do when you went there?
I was just like, oh my God. Like, I was just like blown away. I was like, this exists? And then I see Ouija, who's just like, Ouija's a shorter guy, but his presence is 8 feet tall. Like, you just like, yo, and this dude, at that time, he was a bit bigger. Yeah. And he had on like the funkiest of clothes. And I was just like, yo, this man is truly like himself. Yeah. And then it was him and like 8 dudes that looked just like him. And I was like, whoa. It was like real, like, again, we come from, if you see one with Trues, you're going to see the rest of them with Trues. Yeah. They're probably going to have a Prada. Right.
Today, if one got to take everybody.
The BB belt, like the whole shebang. But Ouija like had on the Gurkha trousers.
At that time.
With the loafers. Pants super high up to up to his nipples. You know what I'm saying? Like Ouija was like all in. And I was like, that dedication I haven't seen outside of the hood.
Yeah.
That level of commitment.
Yeah. See, you got me with so many questions because, you know, I know you, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things I always admired, always wanted to ask you about was like that transitioning from high school. You didn't go to college, you feel me? So I want to know about that transition. Like, was there people that was like, yo, Lee, why are you not going to school? Was anybody pushing that narrative on you? But then I want you to talk to that, but now I want you to talk to, like, how was that process determined? This is what I want to do. And I had to push aside what everybody else was trying to place on me.
I'm hard-headed since young. Like, I'm hard-headed since young. There's a new term out there called, like, I don't know how new it is, but it's popular, neurodivergent. So I think it's just like people that are like on the spectrum and like. So I was diagnosed with ADHD at a very young age, and I think it's some OD something. Like where I just like have a defiance disorder. I don't even.
Keep making it a disorder to be defined.
No. So I think it's a real thing. Like I mean, my parents told me I had it. They could have been like messing with me. Right. Yeah, like it's a real thing. To like once I believe in something, I'm all in. And there's nothing else. There's nothing that's gonna steer me away. So like when I did one semester at BMCC.
Okay,
right?
So you did try it. So
what happened?
He didn't tell me this part. All right, so you went to BMCC.
So I'll tell you. I'll give you the full rundown. Yeah. Right. So I started. I met Sharifa and Ouija when I was 15 years old, 15 or 16 years old. So I had 2 years left of high school. Right. But I knew I wanted to be in fashion. I knew that like because of having ADHD, I knew that I can only be creative. I can't focus on anything else. I can't be or do anything else. So that for the like in the forefront was just like a motivator in itself. Yeah. I applied. I wanted to go to FIT with my homie my best friend at the time. My computer crashed with a portfolio that I like had like bunched together because I was like I spent all my time playing basketball. Right. So my senior year, I started developing just like stuff just to like make into a portfolio. But by the time I was able to submit it, my laptop had completely crashed. I was just like, I ain't going to school then. But almost like, if you don't go to school, you're not staying in my house. And was dead serious about it. My mom is like, if it's my way or the highway, and I appreciate it as an adult. But one day, so I tried BMCC, but I still had the relationship with Sharifa. Sharifa more so at the time. So I was in my senior year, and I was talking to Coop, and I was just like, yo, bro, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do it. He's like, yo, you should intern. I was like, what is that? He was like, yo, this is what you do. Like, yo, I introduced you to Sharifa. Utilize that connection. Like, reach out to her. For months, crickets. So I reached out, finally. When I built up the confidence, I reached out. Right. I'm like, yo, Coop, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's not working out. She's not hitting me back. What's going on? Like,
you nervous?
Nervous. And he's just like, yo, why are you stopping? That was one of the most important lessons I've learned in my life because that's how I ended up at Brooklyn Circus. We'll get back to that later. But I finally get back to him. I get the interview. I'm not sure if I did great on the interview or it was because I knew Sharifa. Right. But I landed the situation, right? So this is during the summertime, but the internship started when I would be in college by this time. So I went to BMCC for I don't even know. I don't know.
You don't remember what you went there for?
I don't know.
You tried it though,
I don't know. But I lied and told them that I was going for graphic design. I ended up interning and being the junior graphic. I ended up interning there and telling them because I was interested in graphic design, there was nobody in the graphic design department. I sat next to this guy named John from Australia. Love John. He would come to my desk a few times and say, hey, like, give me like a few tasks. He was like, yo, like download, have you ever heard of Pinterest? I was like, no. So he told me download Pinterest. And this is 2016. Right. So like, he's like, download Pinterest, look at some references and figure out, He's like, make a folder for me. Let me see what you like. So I made the folder. He's just like, try to exercise some things in Photoshop. And it was Photoshop at the time. I didn't know about Illustrator. So I tried a few things. And he came to me. He was like, I'm going to be transparent with you. It's clear you don't have graphic design experience, but you have great taste. He said, that'll get you far. Right? He's like, but you don't necessarily have the skill set.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't necessarily have, because I'm the only person in this department,
right.
I don't have the time to like babysit you. Yeah. So you're going to have to catch up very fast. And I did it. And I worked my way up to be, so I did that for a few years. I did the first, that's in the office.
Yeah.
Then I worked the actual trade show. And my first trade show, they loved me. And they were like, you're coming to Vegas. So now I'm 19.
So wait. You in Eagle at this time?
I graduated.
You graduated. You go do the internship for graphic design at BMCC.
No, the internship at Liberty Fairs.
At Liberty Affairs. Okay, so when you did the semester at BMCC, what happened then? You went to the Liberty Fairs after the internship?
No, during.
All right, so you're doing both.
I was going to school.
Okay. Yeah. You was doing both.
Absolutely.
Right, and then John but Liberty start working out.
No, but Liberty, so the graphic design internship is at Liberty Fairs.
Okay.
Yeah. So in Liberty Fairs, they have the office. Yeah. And then they have the trade show. Right? So when it's not trade show season, because I think it was every 3 months, every 3 or 6 months. But we got to work up towards it. We got to build promo assets and the whole shebang. So I'm learning. So I worked the actual trade show, and they loved me. And they were like, "You're coming to Vegas."
And you went?
Did I go?
Did I go?
Yeah. I had so I think I've been to Vegas 3 times, maybe. Yeah, I went every time that the Liberty Fairs was.
So you're saying right after graduating, these things just happen? So God just aligned them?
Oh, absolutely. So then this is what happens, right? So first semester's ending. Yeah. And I'm like, Ma, I ain't going back. Yeah. I'm not. She was like, well, find somewhere to live. I'm like, Ma, you just talking tough. You're not going to. I'm like, Ma, this is my plan. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. If you don't see this continue to keep building up, I'll go back to school. She gave me a hard time, but she was like, okay. She's like, but you got to get a job, though. Or you got to figure out how they going to pay you. Right. And I was like, all right, I'll figure it out. Yeah. So I told Sharifa, I was like, look, this is the situation. And it's people from other groups. Yeah. Because we have, and I've grown up middle class. Yeah. My whole life. So I've never wanted for anything. I've always had the best of everything. Yeah. But I think the mentality still, my mom's concern was just like, is my son going to be another bum? For real, is my child gonna be another bum? Because she was like, I don't see again, you got to think about the environment, fashion. Yeah. Fashion. What do you mean? Yeah. What do you mean fashion? Right. No, you need to become my pops always say. You would have been the best lawyer, because you could talk. You could talk. Right. And so people in circles, but
So how you maintain this confidence and nah, I'm gonna make it happen, despite everybody else yo, this ain't it. This may not be it.
Delusion. Yeah. Until you work. And that work becomes confidence. So it starts off as delusion. Because you just I'm going to be the greatest. And then you start to work towards it. And as you work, you're like, okay, I am the greatest. And I'm worried as you continue to aspire to just climb whatever ladder it is that you choose. Yeah. But yeah, and again, sometimes you say something, and I'm a firm believer in God. And I believe that a lot of times, sometimes when I'm speaking, it's not me, it's my spirit. And a lot of times I'll say something and I'll manifest it. Right? And how powerful that is from all of us. So yeah, it was really just sometimes it's just say it. Even if you don't necessarily believe it yet, just say it and see what happens. So I was like, Ma, this is what I'm gonna do. And I didn't know what the fuck. I was dead scared. I was like, yo, I'm going to end up in a shelter or some shit. Like, I don't know what's about to happen. Right. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to be the first one to come to this trade, to the office, and the last to leave. Delivering boxes, PR packages, on the train, in the snow. If the office closed at 7, I'm leaving at 7:30. If the package room, and somebody stopped me, God, I forget her name. But she was like, did you clean this office? And I was like, yes, ma'am. She's like, yo, all the years I worked here, not one intern has ever taken that initiative. I was like, well, ma'am, this is my job. I'm working here to get a job. So I'm going to give it everything I got. Because I can't live in no shelter. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And you was all in.
So it's really, I learned to give myself no options. I don't believe in a plan B. There's no plan B for me. I'm 27 now. I've essentially been in the industry for a decade. All money in.
All in. Ain't no plan B.
There's no plan B. Why a plan B if you believe that it's actually going to happen for you? And you know that you trust yourself enough and you've worked enough to know that your work ethic and the skills that you have built are going to make it happen for you. I just gave it everything I had, man. And I always was pretty good with people, you know. But I gave it everything I had, and I was transparent with everybody about what it is that my goals were at the time. Which it was just to work there. Like, I didn't think too far beyond that. I just knew that I didn't want a standard corporate job because I had experienced that actually. And I want to say 10th or 11th grade, I wrote an essay. I won a competition in the city, which landed me a internship at Fox, which I hated.
Wait. You worked at Fox too? All right, yeah. Tell me about Fox.
Ain't nothing to say. I hated it.
What they had you doing at Fox?
And it was something like loosely creative, but it always had like a corporate tie to it. So it was like your creativity had a cap. And then the motherfuckers that worked there was just stush. I was just like, nah, no.
Even at that time, right.
Triple no, it's not happening. So I was just like, I know I ain't gonna end up doing that. Right. And then I ended up meeting Bill O'Reilly. And I was just like, yeah.
Just say what you want to do.
I was just like, this not happening.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I want to talk about, right? Because I think there's a narrative being pushed on social media about, you know, we all say college ain't for everybody. And I understand that, but what we are not saying is that, like, we against education. So I do want you to talk about that linkage between education and fashion. Like, how much education go into dropping the collection? Like, you know, I want you to educate us on what is the correlation between education and fashion?
My stance on college, again, I'm a Libra, so I see both sides, right? I couldn't get through school because they put me in remedial math, and that environment was just like, I had 30-year-old women in the class, dudes that didn't really speak, and like it was just like the environment. Like, I'm big on my environment, and I just, not that anything's wrong with that, right? But I just felt like a fuck up being in that class, and I was just like, I was like, this is not for me. And I was like, and I like math is not my strong suit. I've always been a writer. Math is not my strong suit because it's too like it's always the thing and just like not for me. So I knew that I didn't want to do that. What was your question again?
What's the linkage between education and fashion?
Yes, so it's important. It's incredibly important. And if you don't go to school, you have to build that curriculum for yourself, which is difficult, right? Because I have homies that went to school, but can't put a collection or like their ideas together for shit. Real life, I can do that. I've shown time and time again that I can do that. So it's like school clearly, like, but you do have to do the job in educating yourself, which is a lot of work. Intern and work for others, work for people that are doing the things that you want to do. That has been a part of my college career, so to speak.
So let's even talk about that, because you didn't go to college, but you did have, like, I would say, like, an apprenticeship, right? I know you spoke about Ouija and Sharifa. Let's talk about, how did you get into the Brooklyn Circus, right? How did that relationship come about? And then what are some, like, the lessons you learned being under that infrastructure and seeing how that system works?
So Liberty Fairs essentially shut down.
Okay.
Which landed me back into Cooper's hands, essentially. And I was teaching elementary school, after school programs. Miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable. Ended up like not being able to do that long term.
Yeah.
And I was just down bad. Like I was just like the worst depression that one of the worst depressions I've experienced. I ended up at UPS loading trucks.
You go. I worked at FedEx. That drink was bad.
I was strong as an ox, though. I tell you that much, bro. I was swinging them bags, like, and I was doing that. That night shift, bro. So I'm getting off work.
I had the graveyard shit. What they call it?
Yo, it was so depressing, man. And then like the white dude, I knew I wasn't gonna stay there, because my first day on the job, like my onboarding process, white dude said, because of Trump, you guys are able to get X, Y, and Z benefits. And I want to say, fuck you. Like, I don't need no benefits. Like, I'm not even staying here long. He was like, you guys should be lucky and be happy that Trump is doing these things, because you guys are getting all these benefits. And then I got these older cats telling me about these benefits. And I'm like, yo, if you do 30 years. And I was like, yo, this is the plantation, bro. If you do 30 years here, I promise you, not all of your kids, but one of your kids gonna be good. Huh? It's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I cannot do this, and I cannot stay here.
Yeah.
Ended up, for 2 weeks, said, fuck them guys.
Yeah.
Right? But my mom is still like, she watching me. Legs crossed, she watching me. What are you doing? I ended up working for my cousin in Jersey. I was still living in Brooklyn at the time. I was delivering books. My second day on the job, I had an accident with the car. It was snowing. It was sometime in the New Year hadn't passed yet, I don't believe. But it was snowing. One of the tires slipped. I ended up swerving on a hill. Car flipped over. Ended up climbing out of the window.
Oh, you totaled the car for real?
Yeah. It was black ice on the road. Police came and he was just like, yo, somebody has to be praying for you, because I don't know how you're alive. Shortly, 2 weeks after that, so I started working there, and I was just hopping around from job to job, like after school programs and stuff like that. But one day I was following Brooklyn Circus, and I was looking online, and I saw that they were having an event at the store. And I was like, you know what, let me just go over there. Ended up seeing Sharifa. Sharifa was like, Sharifa is like everybody's auntie, right? She's like, oh my God, how are you? What are you up to? What are you doing? She's always going to check you like, wait, what are you doing? I don't see you. What are you doing? I was like, Sharifa, I've been hopping job to job, just trying to figure it out. I didn't even finish my sentence. Ouija's like, all right, I got you. But Ouija at that time was so busy, traveling back and forth to Japan. I think he had a few employees at that time. I think what he communicated to me, he was just like, he saw me around, but he was just like, I don't know if I can manage another young man at the moment. So that didn't work out immediately. But because of those skill sets I learned from Cooper in high school, I kept going to the store, emailing them, hey guys, this is what I come with. I'm willing to do anything. What can we do? Guy that I was working there at the time, Corey, eventually ended up circling back to Ouija, and Nicole, who was Ouija's assistant at the time, I believe, or maybe not, but she put in a good word for me. And she was like, I really like this kid, and I think you should give him a chance. And he was like, you know what, I'll give him a chance. I started working there in February, 2018. 2018, maybe. Yeah, February 2018. I was working with Courtney and God bless the dead, Rodney, who was also interning. And my mentality is like, I work all these niggas. Game time. I'm always had that competitive spirit. Yeah. It's just who I am. Yeah. So I'm working there. Yeah. And one day we're working in the shop. So two things happen. I'm working in the shop and I'm just like piling with people, talking, communicating. They have me do like, sweep out the front, fold the inventory, count the inventory, the whole shebang. One day Ouija comes in the store. I don't even know if I'm supposed to share this, but that's what happened. He came to the store. He was just like, he was like, come walk with me. He was like, I'm gonna give you everything I have, like a son. He said, I'm gonna show you the ropes, like a son. And I went home and cried. Shortly after that, Corey ended up leaving, and I became Ouija's number 2. And we went on that beautiful run we had.
Talking about mentorship in that case, a lot of young men may feel like they don't have that guidance. Talk to me how that role of having somebody that was willing to teach you, what role that played in your life.
So that's the main reason I built the Uniform Project. Right? I think a lot of times in our communities, we're not granted access to certain things or exposure. And it's literally what built me. Because Barry knew Sharifa and Ouija. Mr. Meade knew Draper, who was like instrumental to this day. You know what I'm saying? In my development. So mentorship is everything. I'm always looking for a new mentor. Or if not, I'm online searching like people are my mentors from afar. You know what I'm saying? But because I've learned that nobody really knows everything that it is that they're doing, but you can take bits and pieces from everybody. Yeah. Right? And cater it to who you are as a person. Like my personality doesn't work for working under somebody. It just doesn't. And I can try to change as much as I can, but if I change enough, you don't get me at my fullest extent, which means my creativity starts to dim also. Yeah. Because of it.
And I want to ask, right? We speak a lot about transitions, right? And I've seen you do a lot of transitions from like your name, from going from Tyrell to Leroy, having braids to getting a haircut. Yeah. You feel me? And I just want to know, even through going your ups and downs, what do you feel like those seasons of transition is? What's a lesson that you feel like that taught you?
I always believe in death. And death of like whether it be your ego or your personality, just constantly shedding of skin. My birth name was Leroy. I'm the third. My mother changed my name for several reasons, but I know she never said it outwardly. She might have joked around it, but I think it was just like, how far is this kid gonna go with a name like Leroy? Right? And when you Google Leroy Pope, a white man comes up. And I don't know if he was a slave owner, but he looked like one to me. So I made that decision at that time that when you search Google, he's going to be replaced. And I was at a point in my time where I was just like, Tyrell is who I became in order to survive. Leroy is who I'm going to be to thrive in, because it was who I was born as. So I'm going back to who I'm, like my original form and creativity and expressing myself fully. So Leroy was another form of rebellion, because my name, my birth name was Tyrell Leroy. My birth name was Leroy Tyrell Pope, but my mom switched it to Tyrell Leroy Pope. So it was just like, it was almost to like, Mom, I'm gonna also like, I understand your protection, but I'm gonna show you that I can make it far in this country with that name, in this world,
and redefine that whole narrative.
That's it.
Thanks.
Google me in 3 years.
Thanks. And you got me thinking, because I wrote that down when it comes to like the uniform project. And you talked about it earlier, how we all have a uniform, whether we call it that or not. Artists got a uniform. They think they got to wear a certain attire in order to look like they got the image that they made it. Brooklyn, we got our Timbs. Harlem got everybody got a uniform. So I want you to talk about the uniform project. Like, what made you even come up with that? I know we went to Eagle, we wore a uniform at that time. But when you started to... There's so many questions, but when you started to build out a uniform or even define what you wanted the project to be labeled, what made you think of a uniform, and what's the importance of having one?
So I launched it in a transitional stage of me cycling out of Brooklyn Circus. But my first ever design project was in high school when Mr. Me granted me access to design the school tie. And that opportunity came about from me always changing up the uniform.
Yeah.
So we had these wide pants that fit crazy on your butt because we athletes, so the waist was cinched in, and then there was seams and pleats certain areas, and it just was unpleasant. We had to tuck in our shirt, and it was just like, I was like, okay, like I'm gonna be in uniform, but I'm gonna wear a fly sweater. I'm gonna cut these pants, make them 3/4 pants. I'm gonna make them shorts because they wide, they boxy, and I'm gonna create different silhouettes. And I was always getting sent home. And he was like, I think Barry told me, he was just like, yo, we can't keep sending this kid home because he's literally missing school. Right. He was like, we really don't. He's a good student. Like, he's a good student. We don't want to expel him, but like, I don't understand why he's just like not following. And my stance then was just like, I'm not going to be no lawyer or no professional that wears a tie every day. So why am I dressing like that now? If you guys are prepping me for my future, why am I dressing like that when I'm not going to dress like that in the future? Unbeknownst to me, I ended up right, and that's just like the immaturity and just like development, right? But I think that that opportunity opened my eyes like wide open, and I was like, wow, like this space here. That's in high school. That was in 10th grade. So shortly after that, I was introduced to like hardcore, like the fashion industry, and I was able to exercise there. But yeah, that was my first inkling of like taste of being able to design. And then after that, fast forward to now, I want to bring that feeling back to other students. So I allow a part of it. So it's an umbrella company, and we give different services, right? One of those services being mentorship, the other service being the opportunity to bring in other local artists to build murals, just really building a foundation in the community that's really about us currently, right? If you look back on the uniforms we had was shitty. It was shitty quality. It always ended up in bins because we never kept it. We didn't care about it. It was just like nothing that we didn't resonate with it. Right? So when someone, especially at that impressionable age, doesn't resonate with something, they don't care about it. Right? And something else that inspired me was realizing that a lot of times that, because I'm heavy on like this directing and media also, and my biggest inspiration, which led to me really launching the program, was realizing that Mr. Me was showing me the yearbook, and I was talking to a few alumni, and they was like, yo, my yearbook, I don't know where that's at. I threw it away. And I was like, yo, what if we designed a yearbook like a zine and added those elements to it that like really felt purposeful? And like, yes, because if you look at the yearbook, it's a bunch of whack-ass graffiti and all these other extra elements that are not representation of like who we are currently. Why that cover of that yearbook don't look like a Vogue cover, right? Or like something that's a representation of us. The design portion is really practicing sustainability in more than one way, right? Because if I build a beautiful garment that resonates with the student that they want to keep after they graduate, that like they want to gift to their granddaughter or their son, their child, to be like, yo, my father went to X, Y, and Z school, right? Something that we can have pride and but also be a representation of where we are currently, right? Like if you look at uniforms from the 60s, those chinos are built a little differently, right? So how do we do that now outside of an A+, a company like A+ or anything else? Like there's no company, this is the first company to really focus on school uniforms in this way. Like I'm building a luxury uniform business.
You know, when you speak, I could tell like you've been exposed to more than the references that everybody may have not been exposed to, and that's why you have like a like, you know, I have a vast vocabulary. You have like a vast knowledge of how different things can exist, right? And I want to know what role do you feel like exposure played in the changing of how you came out defining your brand into clothing? Was there a place you went to and it was like, Oh, all right. This is different. Like when you traveled abroad, right? So like, how has traveling or gaining exposure changed the way in which you dress and in your mindset?
I think it's everything. Exposure is everything. I've exposed myself to therapy. That's changed my life. You know what I'm saying? Like at the time, like a lot of people were just like, therapy? Are you crazy? Like, is something wrong with you? Like, are you crazy? But it's like, nah, I'm going to therapy to exercise the things that I'm unfamiliar with, right? So exposure is genuinely everything to me. And having that openness to be open to new things. Like, if you look at yourself, like, college has expanded you beyond what I saw, right? I always knew that you were going to be great, but I think that you've gotten there a lot sooner, a lot faster because of your exposure. It's allowed you to gain this confidence in yourself and say, you know what? If that person can do it, I know for damn sure, for shit show, I can do this, right? And that's what exposure does sometimes, right? So exposure is everything.
Yeah. And then I want to talk about social media, right? Because when I knew you was dressing the way in which people now want to be like, oh, it's fashion, it's that. But you already was doing it, right?
Yeah.
I want to know, what role do you feel like social media is playing in dictating fashion? And then we can say, well, there's a positive, negative thing. But what impact do you think social media is having on fashion?
I think it's both. But I think that, like, I love it because get your money. Like, a dude could drop some mediocre stuff and have some supporters, some cats in Europe really support it and want to support him and build it. I mean, another thing is just like a lot of people's opinions on it is just like, and even my stance on it sometimes, where I'm like shifting my mentality currently, but it's like, oh, you're watering down the thing. It's like, you can't water down what people are going to be attracted to anyway, right? So if they wanted Sheen, they're going to go for Sheen anyway.
Right.
They're going to find it anyway.
Right.
There was a Conway. There was a rainbow. There were these things. Like, there's always going to be those things. But people that actually care about something and have an eye for detail and want to go that extra step and have that patience to say, you know what, I'm not going to buy a fake watch. I'm going to wait to earn the real one. That's what I do. What I do for that person that wants the other thing, not what everyone else is going to pursue. So I think that's like, social media plays a role in, like, a lot of people look like each other, essentially, but like, I do believe that we operate in under one consciousness as a world. I think ideas are this bubble. I mean, I think you've seen the reference, like, ideas are in this bubble, and like the story about Michael Jackson and Prince, and how if a song came to his head, he would record it because he understood that if he didn't, Prince might be dropping. Right. So these ideas are nothing new, right? It's just really about timing, precision, and overall, most importantly, purpose. I was made to do this. I was born to do the work that it is that I'm doing.
You got me thinking some more. You know, I wrote questions down, but as you're speaking, I got more questions because, I mean, at first I wanted to talk about purpose, but I also don't want to glance over when you was open about therapy.
Yeah.
Right? I think a lot of men, we don't talk about seeking help, and not necessarily mean that something's wrong with you, but knowing that you do need to seek some advice to get over certain things that you're not strong enough to get over by yourself. So let's talk to you about, therapy. What did that do for you? How do you feel like that helped you to evolve?
Changed my life. Therapy is, the way it's been explained to me, therapy is, the therapist doesn't necessarily do the work for you, but he provides you the toolbox and the tools to be able to utilize when life gets difficult, challenging, or something that's unfamiliar arises within you. So that was necessary, especially navigating new spaces and new environments, and feeling like my manhood is tested, or relationships, love, like all those things have played. My relationship with my mom, my relationship with my parents, my relationship with myself, most importantly, right? A lot of times we operate from lack, and we're unaware of it. And we operate from a place of like, I'm gonna get it out the mud and I'm gonna grind. And it's like, how long does that last? How long does grinding, like if you think about the word grind, how long does grinding really last? We're in this environment because we've been open. Not because we like are grinding, so to speak. We're here relatively late, but this has been a pleasure. Like this is like life is beautiful. And what I'm relearning now, ironically, is like being open to life and shifting your energy is the most important thing, and that's how you attract, as opposed to constantly looking out and trying to get things. Right? Have the energy of like, I love what it is that I possess, and I know what it is that I need. I'm working towards. And people gravitate towards you. People want to work with you because of that, as opposed to like you hitting people up 1,000. Like, yes, have persistence, right? But sometimes people look at certain things like begging, right? Because it's just like, it's just the energy. Right. It's an energy thing, right? So like, I'm really reshifting and refocusing my energy because I was a bit tainted by the industry and some of my experiences. And as I continue to like just be accountable. Right, accountability is the most important thing to me. If you ask anybody who's very close to me, accountability is everything. Even when you feel like you didn't do something wrong, be accountable because you were in that predicament. You got yourself there. Be accountable at all times.
So you talked about purpose, right? And you also are very open about faith, right? So I want to know, what would you define your purpose to be? And then like, what role do you feel like having a faith and a relationship with God played in your life?
Faith and God are one and the same. I've been through very traumatic experiences, and in those moments I found God, or I seeked God, and I always ended up on top of every situation. So if you see something that's working, you like, I got like a lot of people, like atheist argument is just like, well, how can you prove there's a God? I'm walking, living proof of it. I'm showing you God. We are all God in the flesh. We are all God, right? I believe in the afterlife. I believe in spirits. I would say today I'm more spiritual than I am religious, but I did take my Shahada and convert to Islam when I was 14 years old. But yeah, faith is everything to me. Like when I invest all my money into the umbrella of businesses, and I'm like, shit, how am I gonna pay rent? And the first coming rent is paid. That's God. That's faith. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. It just happened to me.
Yeah. So it's just like, and it happens, right? But those are lessons, and those are gifts from God. There's a lesson there. What did you slip up on? What did you purchase last month? And sometimes it's just really just like, I want to make sure I'm gonna tap in with you, make sure you're still here, because I've been giving you a lot. I've been giving you a lot, so I'm gonna tap in to make sure you're still present. That's how I perceive a lot of those things. I think it's all gifts from God.
Because I'm just saying, and you're right though, because there's times where God will put you in certain situations to make himself visible. Yeah. And that's when you start to understand, like, you can't even put it into words sometimes. It's like, nah, I know. Because ain't no other way I got out of this situation or into this situation without him. You know what I mean? So that's important. I'm glad you even spoke to that. One of the things I do want to talk to, and we talk about it, day to day, was like learning the business, right? So I do want to talk about that. Like, how did you learn the business of fashion, right? When it came to, let's put it this way. I want to know, what was your biggest contract? Oh, the first big contract that you secured, right? So let's talk about the first big contract that you secured, and then we're going to start from there.
It was a school contract.
Okay.
It was a school contract.
Yeah. Okay. So then I want to know, how did you learn to place value on yourself? Like, how did you determine what your worth is? When someone asks you, yo, Lee, I would love for you to design this gym. How did you come up with what your worth was?
Delusion.
I
mean, because I've done some work.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you also articulating your value. I want to know, when you knew what your worth was, how did you get the courage to articulate? Because a lot of us may say worthless and scared to even say it.
Oh, well, I've always been a salesman. I don't know if I told you that. I've always been a salesman. So in high school, I used to sell bracelets. Because I was just like, my mom gave me the child support card, right? And I used to just run that up, right? But I'm like, I like nice things, man. Yeah. And mom was just telling me no, too much for my liking. So I started making bracelets and selling bracelets throughout the school. And that was my first, go. And then I was also, in my hood, I was selling waters with the homies. So like that's where like my salesmanship really started to show up.
Yeah.
But yeah, you asked for a not too fair number first. See how far you can reach at first, right? But when you don't know, when you're figuring it out, my and it works different for everybody, and that's why I'm like really like when it comes to advice, like I'm not giving advice. I'll give you my story and I'll give you my take on things. It's not,
works, you
it
apply.
might not work for you. But Jim Jones always said, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. And Ronald Draper instilled that in me too. Right? Ronald Draper was just like, I think I was selling a piece of art and he was just like, huh? You selling that for how much? Like, nigga, you are bugging. Verbatim. You are bugging. And he was like, if that's what you feel like your story is worth, go ahead. So mentorship is really like
important.
Keen to that. When you have experience and you lowball yourself a few times, you start to shoot up slowly and surely. And then one day it just happens and you just like, nah, I need bam.
That's it.
And you watch closely, you like and then when you get it, you're like, oh shit. It's over. It's over. Like it's done for. And then you learn to negotiate and be a little bit more fair and just like it's different circumstances for different things. But I'm constantly, to answer your initial question, I don't know. But I'm learning business. I'm studying business. And I'm asking questions. And I'm open to receiving information about business. But like I don't have a direct line to any millionaires. So it's just like I can listen to you, but you're not necessarily a millionaire yet, right? So unless I want to build my business structure in a way like yours, I probably shouldn't listen to you.
Right.
Because there's different level of business folks and creators. Some people are the business, but they are selling themselves for that monetary gain. Is that how I want to structure my business? Do I want it to be a product-focused business? Do I want to be in the background of my business and let the product speak? Am I a part of the business? Am I my individual business? So there's so many things to really learn, and I'm constantly learning, and I'm getting fucked up because of it. Business will fuck you up, like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm blessed, man.
People don't talk about that part. You know, we also talk about how in business, right? You could sometimes be in a room and everybody's character is not always the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
And I want to know, how do you find discernment of knowing who to collaborate with or not? Because like there's times where collaboration can do more harm to your business, despite them being an influencer, have millions of views, being a celebrity.
Yeah.
How do you find discernment of knowing who you're gonna collaborate with and not?
Time. And the wrong collaborations you start. It's kind of like women. When you first start dating women, you like, I want the loudest one in the room. I want the one that dresses her. I want her. Then as time progresses, you're like, oh, she come with X, Y, and Z. Like, nah, maybe I'll go for this type of woman because I don't want this in my life, right? So it's just like life will show you. And where we come from, we read people very well. We develop that skill very fast. That dude looks suspicious. Let's not walk across that street. He's lacking eye contact. He's fidgeting too much. We learned that from the hood. We learned that from where we from. For real, right? Like, I'm at a point in my business, I'm not working with anybody I'm not aligned with. Or anybody that I don't believe have a good interest for me. Or like a good intentions for me. It'll harm me long term. I don't care how big the opportunity is. Where I am now, I've said no to a lot of opportunities. I've said no to a lot of folks. And sometimes I look at that number and I'm like, just get it away from me. Just get it away from me, man. But I'm not willing to sell my soul. And what we don't realize is that, like, selling our soul doesn't mean selling our soul to the devil per se. We're selling our soul for monetary gain, right? So like, if I'm 10 years in, but I'm still at the very beginning of my career. If I portray myself in a certain way that's not true to who I am, I lose everything. And that's why I've like I've stayed away from like speaking engagements and like shit like that, because like I'm liable to say some shit that's just my opinion, and a lot of people don't agree with my opinion sometimes. But I tell you now, like where I am now, I don't give a fuck. It's who I am. It's who I'm gonna die as. And that doesn't mean that I don't believe in evolution. I most certainly believe that you should, like, nobody's perfect and you should evolve. But there's a certain aspect to who we are at our core. Right. And when you've done that work on yourself and you are that person, right? That's just who you are. And not everybody, people don't like me when I'm fake anyway. And a lot of people don't like me when I'm myself anyway. But I'm going to die happy. And I'm going to die empty. I'm going to give this world everything it is that I have. But I'm going to do it my way. That's why I became an entrepreneur, because I would have stayed places I didn't want to stay if I wasn't willing to take that chance on myself again. So like my journey has allowed me to make micro steps in like faith to be able to eventually take leaps in my faith.
And then I want to make sure everything good. We talked about this before when it came to like even me saying, yo, I need to learn how to get dressed. Like, I need you to teach me and learn. I want to know, how do you feel like fashion, how you present yourself, your perception impacts business?
It's the first thing people see when they see you. That's it, and that's all. That'll change. Again, you see a fly chick, she fly, nines, everything. Then you look at her feet, her toes not done. She got chip nail polish on. That's a character. That's a part of your character. You don't finish things, and you also don't give a fuck, because like coming out the side with your shoes, with your toes like that is crazy. So it's really like it's who we. It's an expression of who we are internally. It's an expression of who we are internally. You see somebody didn't get a haircut for weeks, so like it's really. And we're able to be creative with it, which is the gift, right? But it allows us to communicate before we open our mouths. And micro and nonverbal communication is the most important form of communication.
Yeah, you're not lying, because I know we talk. Even I could walk in certain rooms, or even people closest to you, based on how you present yourself, treat you different. Like Absolutely. When I'm in sweatsuits, they treat me different than when I'm in a suit. You feel me? Even as I'm starting to learn how to get dressed here and there, people on the block will say, "Yo, J.O., I like that." You feel me? And then you start giving consent for other people to want to step into who they actually
are. But I'm on the fence when it comes to that per se, because like I think it would have been fire if Obama would have like mobbed in the White House with a sweatsuit or a tech one time, just for the one, like just to do it, like just to do it. Why not? It's all assimilation. Don't get me started on my shit. Like, it's all smoke and mirrors, man. Yeah. It's all smoke and mirrors. Who is the person that said that we had to dress that way to be accepted? If we look at it at its core and we dig deep enough, it ain't with us. And Obama
he tried that with the base.
Yeah, he did it. And again, because it's illegal to be naked, right? So it's only was so far that we can go. But like, and this is who I've been in my youth. Why? Why do I have to wear a suit and tie and be looked upon as a certain way? And that's what I love about T.I. Right? He's a rapper, right? But his
intellect, how he speaks, how he carry himself, definitely can switch it up. And I agree with you to an extent. I do believe, but perception is important. I just don't like. I think our generation is emulating all the images that we don't want them to emulate. You know, like I don't mind just sweatsuits, having a suit on, but knowing that there is a time and space for everything. Like, we not go to a business meeting in a sweatsuit. If it depends on who I'm meeting with as well.
Jerry Lorenzo does.
So it's part of your brand then. It's how you define your brand.
It's a way to go about it. Yeah. But I don't think there's a right or wrong way. I think as long as you, I think that upkeep is much more important than.
So when people come with pajamas on or bonnets, how do you feel about that?
I don't like that. Personally, I don't like that.
Who personally you can't wear your bonnet?
Exactly, right?
Because here's the meeting.
So here's the thing, right? Funny enough, I had gotten penalized, so to speak, for wearing a do-rag in public. And it wasn't until like an editor started wearing his do-rag publicly that the person was just like, "Oh no, I think that's pretty that's pretty acceptable." So it's always about sometimes the way you go about doing that particular thing. But the rules are fake. It's all fake. It's all fake. And another person that has like helped exercise, like me and like Draper, he'll do this annual dinner for people that work with him. And sometimes he'll go right after working on the site in his sweatsuits and his beat up Jordans. Like, now what? And I love that shit. Because it's like, again, I think we're quick to judge each other.
Yeah.
So again, it's the Libra in me because I probably sound like I'm contradicting myself to an extent, but I do think that there's some sort of a balance, and that's what Renee Renell is, right? So our signature, and that's what our signature AC pant is. It's a wider silhouette, but people wear it to the gym. People have worn it with blazers. The fabrication and the textile allows that versatility, and that's what we're going to continue to build, right? Because, and the story behind the AC pant is, I've fluctuated my entire life. But when my first son was born, I suffered a very deep, just like depression and just like things, right? And I ended up gaining 30 pounds. I didn't want to go outside because of it, because I was just like, I feel like people were going to look at me like, oh, you fell off and you're done. Right? So I got back in the lab and I built this AC pant that allows me to not jeopardize my silhouette or my choice in fabrication, and allow me to be confident. And it was beneficial because Athena was also able to wear it as a woman that's growing a child. So that versatility is just like, I'm still able to feel confident, be presentable, but exercise my style through this garment in multiple ways. That in itself is sustainability that's not being practiced enough.
All shapes and sizes fit in these pants, and the silhouette don't change.
That's it. That's it.
And since we on the topic of family, I mean, the first question I want to know is, how did having children change who you was as a man? Do you feel like anything was impacted? How has it helped you to evolve?
I've died each child. Shed again. Say, oh, it's time. I'm at the point where like my shedding phase, I surrendered to it. I surrendered. A good friend of mine was just like, every time you're going through something, you grow out your hair. Like I had like crazy hair, big scruffy mustache. Like I was just going through the motions. Like I spent an entire summer in the house. I would go for like runs, come home and like just eat my insecurities, my fears, all that shit away. And then I would go into my office in my house and work. Right? So I started to find some sort of a balance. And I still cycle in and out of it. My children are young. But I think that the best advice I've gotten, because when you're having children, everybody has advice for you. Everybody. But the most important advice that resonates with me to this day is like, forget who you think you are and allow yourself to be. I was too attached to my ego. I was too attached to who I thought I would be at 25, who I thought I would be at where I thought I should be, what my account should look like, and all these other things. And even like I realized that, making the most money that I've ever made, when I first was having children, and still just being miserable with myself. And a part of it was just like, I wasn't speaking to my father at the time. I didn't have much of a relationship with my biological father at the time. And we still don't speak to this day, but I was just like, damn, like I'm going through these things and I don't even have you as a reference point because you didn't keep your family. And I don't know much people that I respect, and it is what it is. Like I don't have much people that I respect or think like me that have kept their families. So I had to do the work that I felt that my father neglected. And that I had to go to the depths of hell.
Another question I do have, because as you are a businessman, goal-oriented, I want to know, how do you find solitude, but still being able to maintain and show up as a father?
It's been a struggle these past 3 years, but I've dedicated myself to fitness. That's been my solitude. I can't necessarily meditate. I used to meditate a lot. But sometimes my thoughts get so dark that I struggle sitting in silence. But I find that educating myself and movement has been my current therapy. Just like it's something about going to the gym, and especially going to the gym with a community, right? And like guys that are like actually pushing you. And that to me is like, that's love. And that's love I haven't experienced outside of basketball for real. right? Like when people are just like, I don't care how you feel, you can do 2 more. That's love to me. So that has been able for the past 2 months really brought me back to my joy, man. Like I really feel joy that I haven't felt in a very long time, and I'm sad about it because I feel like my children have missed certain parts of me because I wasn't at my peak self. But you know, I'm developing. I forgive myself for, you know, not being as present with my children, but I'm able to like. It's something about like. Sometimes I go to like the other night, Sunday I went to the gym at 2. I was in the gym till 2 in the morning. Woke up, went to the gym that night again. So now I'm working out twice a day. I got 2 separate gym memberships, and I realized that like outside of my work goals, having personal goals for my body and just like pushing myself in other ways has really been my solitude because it's proof of existence. That weight is real, and if you drop it on your neck, you're dead. It don't get no realer than that.
Right.
It's real. It's something that you grab and you hold and you push yourself, and just being able to do that day by day. So I really like. I plan 5 years ahead, but my real goal is just to be happy every day. And that's been my solitude.
And they say the easiest way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time.
That's
right?
it.
And then I want to ask this question, because throughout all this evolution, right, I think one thing a lot of people don't talk about is that there is a time period where you're like outgrowing your friends, but you haven't found your community, right? And I want you to talk to that. Like, have you ever found yourself in that transition phase? And what did you learn through that? What advice would you give to others that's taking a step, but it feel like you alone? And it's like, I don't see my village.
This could be a somewhat negative take on it. But I don't see myself having friends because I'm always shedding. And I've accepted that in life, this is the role that I take. I push my family, and I push those I love. And sometimes it pushes them away. But I'm not going to be anything but who I am. I've also learned the other side of that is some people are just there for you to enjoy. But I'm on a mission, so enjoyment is not really a primal goal for me currently in my life. So if you're around me, I'm going to push you to be a better version of yourself, and I want the same from you. And if you're not necessarily giving me that, then I don't see a real reason for us to be together, because you're a distraction for yourself, and you're a distraction for me. And we're killing time for what reason? I don't have 1,000 years on this planet, and my impact is just a speck. And I have kids to raise, and I have other things to do, right? So it's just like I have a family, right? So my like, yes, I want to be intentional and like spending time with friends, right? But like, there's work that needs to be done, and I don't necessarily have that balance yet. But my homies at the gym, I just met them a month ago, and I love them niggas. I love them. And before we started, Big Mike called me like, "Yo, Lee, where you at?" That's love, and that's not love I felt in a long time. Like people that I've known for years don't call and check on me or just what's good with you. Like I don't get that. I'm alone in a lot of my I'm alone in life outside of like, you know what I'm saying? Like you and I speak occasionally, but that's pretty rare. But I've accepted it and I love it, and I embrace. I used to reject love because of it, but I embrace love because of it. But I'm a loner. When people are around, I enjoy them, but I'm my own best friend. So yeah, that challenge was difficult for me in the beginning, and it still can be, because some nights you don't want to be alone. Like we're not made to be alone, essentially, right? So I found my tribe in the gym. It allows me to work alone or like build my team to work with. But yeah, that shit is tough, and I would say the toughest part for me, and why I've I forget what it's called, man. Survivor's Guilt.
Survivor's Guilt, yeah.
I feel like I grieve more than people that have lost people to death, because I see the people I've grown up with have given up on their dreams and are just shells of themselves. That shit is the most heartbreaking shit that I've experienced. You had so many like goals, and life has allowed, like you've allowed life to just like, and again, we all have different circumstances. Like I'm understanding to that, but like, damn. Like how many times we go back to Eagle, or how many times we go back to those neighborhoods, and we're just like, and sometimes that's all people want, and that's okay. Like no judgment. But I like, for me, and this again could be flawed, but like I want everybody to dream big and everybody to aspire. But it just wouldn't make the most sense, right? But I just want everybody to be fulfilled and finding that fulfillment, and that's why like the Uniform Project is much more important than Renee Renell, because it allows you a young kid to say, you know what, I don't want to be the biggest designer in the world. I want to design for these schools. I want to design for my community. How do we uplift and build within our community as opposed to telling everybody get away from our community? How do we build within our community and bring that exposure back? It's all about bringing it back, paying it forward, bringing it back, paying it forward. So that's kind of been my answer to my survivor's guilt. Some of the like niggas I love locked up, some of them gone, but all of them are like just gone, like shells of themselves, and just not the same people due to life. And I'm extremely blessed, and I speak from a place of what Draper has helped me understand. It's just like I speak from a place of privilege. Though I sought out these opportunities, I'm still privileged, and I don't take that lightly.
You know, you speaking about just redefining what's been sold to us as success, right? And I want to know, how did you come to define what success looked like for you?
I'm constantly redefining it. The house next to my mother's house is for sale. If I can get that might be success. I might be out of here, done, gone, boom. It changes, right? It's just like I have a family. I want a house, I want a home, I want a farm. I'm going to have a house, I'm going to have a farm, I'm going to have land. I'm going to buy enough land for my family to build on said land and build a community of houses within that. And if it's in the cards, and if I'm still, working within this industry, we will build manufacturing, bring manufacturing back to the U.S.
And I seen you catch yourself. How important is language?
Oh, it's everything. It's everything. It's a spell. You know what I'm saying? It's everything.
All right, so I got a few more questions. I want to know, if you could style one person in the world, who would it be and why?
Kendrick.
Why?
Because he's necessary.
What you mean by that?
I resonate to a lot of the work that he's done. And when you do that work, you connect to that work. I'm not a singular person. There's a duality to me, right? I don't always look the same every day because I don't feel the same every day. I'm a flawed individual, but I'm one of the greatest individuals walking on the planet Earth. It's really just that duality of just things, you know what I'm saying? And it might be flawed and there's some ego in it, but ego is what gets you up in the morning to push harder than the next man. I'm building businesses that are going to be the best businesses to come out of New York City. So those things are important, right? And I think that he's been one of my closest friends throughout this journey, these last few years for me. So yeah.
All right. I want to know, where do you see fashion going in the next 10 years, and what styles do you think will return, and which ones would you want to get rid of?
I think for the next few years, because of social media, everybody's gonna kind of look like how they looked in high school. Like you're gonna have the goth kids, and like it's gonna be a melting pot of like people that are stuck in the 90s, and a melting pot that people that are stuck in the early 2000s. I think it's gonna constantly evolve. I do think that luxury and the structure of luxury is gonna change. When you see the stuff that's happening with China and the boosters on Canal Street, we're finding that like we create value, not them. Right, so I think that is going to continuously shift in the next few years, because again, like I said in the beginning, those makers, people that respect artisans, craftsmanship, and like makers are going to invest a little bit more because they know that story and how that thing was developed and processed, that people are going to buy that over like just like trying to look good. So I think that's really gonna be what changes the industry in the next 10 years.
I want to know, what would your past self think of who you are today?
Oh, he would. Oh my God, like he would love me. Like I am exactly who I thought I would be at this age, and And I read something the other day. It was just like a lot of times we become the person that would have saved our younger self, or exactly who our younger version needed. And I am exactly that. I am exactly that, and I am extremely proud of myself. Extremely proud of myself, and I love the shit out of myself.
I love it. I love it. I love when black men speak highly upon themselves, especially in the world we live in today.
Hell yeah.
And then one of the last questions I have is like, what advice would you give to young black men that's born and raised in our environments that aspire to, become more than what the statistics may say?
Just be open. It's that simple, and don't listen to everybody. For real, like I can't give you no like real tangible advice unless you want to take my route. Right. Which I wouldn't recommend because it's just like it's bumps and bruises, right? There might be another route that might be easier for your personality, right? So like everybody's quick to give advice, but everybody's different. And their goal might be to be rich by 27. I can't give you that advice. I can tell you the mistakes I've made and you can learn from those mistakes, but a lot of times you need to learn from those bumps and bruises. But I would just say be open. Don't be closed-minded to things. Be open to things. You don't need to be open to everything, right? But be open to things and like use your discernment and the things that you've developed in your youth to survive, to then thrive.
All right, man. So look, y'all, that was a great conversation. I want to first thank you for making that time, for being here.
Yeah, anytime, bro.
It was a great conversation.
You know how we give it up. Stop playing.
And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I believe there's a lot of lessons to be taken away from this conversation of seeing two black men that have confidence in what it is that they're doing. But also learn, like he stated, is that everybody got a different story and a different trajectory. But you take what you learn from this podcast and apply it, and that you don't feel like it applies, you disregard it, right? But I want to thank you again for making that time. And we're going to come with the podcast name later. But I want to thank everybody. I want to make sure you subscribe to The Village. Where could they find you?
They can find me at Leroy Tyrell on Instagram. So that's LeroyTyrell. That's my main account. You can follow us at the Uniform Project, THEUYOU Uniform Project. And the official brand page is RNL, and that's whenever now.
Absolutely. So I want y'all to subscribe, follow them on the social media platforms that he just let y'all know about, but also purchase and support. We getting back to, ownership, supporting one another, and everything black. Everything black. We buy black, we support black, we look black, we marry black, all the above. So I want to thank everybody for joining, and I look forward to seeing y'all soon.